Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's AshleySharice here. And today I'm doing a video. I'm going to be answering some questions. I'm like really excited for this video because I've always wanted to do like a video. I have my computer here that's I'm looking down. I'm about to pull up the questions, but I've always wanted to do a video where I just answer some questions. They're not like really necessarily questions about me, but I have one of my friends, Aaliyah, shout out to you. I had her like think of 10 questions that I could answer. I think I'm only going to answer 9 of them because I can only answer 9 of them because the other one just doesn't apply anymore. But I'm just going to get right into the video, but please like, share, and subscribe, and let's get into the video. One of the first questions, and I like did not like think of like I didn't answer these questions already, and like I don't have the answer already, so this is like literally going right off the dome. But one of the first questions was, what are my life goals? And so let's just talk about okay, so she said life goals. I was gonna go into like goals that are like recent and then lead up, but I'll just do life goals. So one of my life goals is to obviously find out my purpose, like why God brought me here to this earth, and to obviously fulfill that purpose and to just do whatever God wants me to do. But if I'm thinking right off my head what I actually want to do, I of course want to become a lawyer, and then I want to start my own firm eventually. And that's like really all I can think of right now. When people ask me these, I'm sorry, outside is so noisy right now, but when people ask me these questions, I like have a hard time kind of like answering them, because like I do know what I want to do, but sometimes it's like hard for me to like put it into words and like actually like think about it. And I obviously want like a family. I didn't even say that, but I do want a family, a husband, some children. Like I do want those everyday things. The second question is, what advice would you give for people who are going through depression/anxiety? So the advice that I would give to those people is to just know that everything is going to be okay. And I know that that's like easier said than like to actually believe, but everything is going to be okay, and there are better days ahead. Because I know that like during this time especially, people have been like alone, and like this is a time where people have really been like getting depressed and been having like major anxiety, especially due to the coronavirus. But I would just say also to know that God is with you, and if you aren't a believer in God, you need to hop on the train. I honestly don't even know, but like just know that God is with you. Into like, if you are a believer, you should really dive into his word, because that does comfort you. You know, worship music, that's also good, and praying is obviously a really huge one that can really make you feel better. So yeah, like just know that you're not alone, and if you are a believer, dive into God, because that depression and anxiety will go away if you dive into God. The third question is, what is your favorite Bible verse? And I literally so I do like Jeremiah 29:11, and that says, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And I of course do like Philippians 4:13, that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's like the most popular verse, and everybody loves that verse. And there are a whole bunch of other verses that I like. I will probably put them on the screen because I cannot get to my Bible app right now, but I will put those verses on the screen. Next question was, what would you say to someone who is going through a rough patch but they don't believe in God? And this is the question that I was like, if they don't believe in God, I like don't know what advice I have, but I do know what advice I can have. And what I would say is that like, okay, it's hard for me as a believer in God to give, not it's hard to give advice, but it's hard for me to be like giving advice without saying, you know, to pray and to do those types of things. But I would say if you don't believe in God and you would reject advice that has to do with God, then I would just say to do things that make you happy and to surround yourself with people that do make you happy, because that can, you know, get you through that rough patch by being surrounded with people that make you happy. And that's really all I can say, because you don't believe in God, so I do not know what to say. And obviously, if they don't believe in God, I would still talk about God. I would say to pray and to build a closer relationship with him, because that will help you to be okay through your rough patch. The next question is, how do you feel about people rushing to get into a relationship? So what I would say about that is, don't rush to get into a relationship, because in all honesty, you want to be with the person that you are supposed to be with. And I know, like, I'm only 19 years old, so like at such a young age, people think that they do need to date all these different people and all that stuff. And I honestly do feel like dating people is important. Like, I wouldn't, like, I have, like, listened to sermons and read books that say, like, you should always date intentionally and you should never date someone unless you see having a future with them, which, of course, I do agree with that you shouldn't date anyone if you do not see a future with them. But when I do say, like, I feel like you should date people, I do think that you should date people, because you need to figure out what type of people you like and who you don't like. And I do think that you should only get into a relationship with someone if you see a future with them. I don't think that you should just be hopping into meaningless relationships, because at the end of the day, it's a waste of your time. And by the end of many relationships, you end up sad, and it's just like, you know, you wasted all that time and you're just going through all these different emotions and all these different relationships. But I personally think that no, you should not rush into a relationship, because being single is actually a very good time for you to find yourself and to figure out what you like. So the next question is, what is the hardest thing that you went through in your life? I used to always say that, like, I've never been through anything, and not that, like, I want to go through stuff, but I personally have felt like I haven't been through anything that's, like, worth me being like, oh my gosh, this is, like, such a hard period in my life. But over these past few months, I've realized, well, really ever since the pandemic, I've realized that something that, and I'm breathing kind of hard because I just ran up the stairs. Like, I cut the clip and had to go downstairs. Let me get myself together. Okay. But over the course of this pandemic, I've realized that not having, like, okay, so throughout grade school, I've had friends, but throughout, like, grade school, middle school, high school, I've had friends, but I've never had any friends that were, like, consistent friends that, like, stayed my friends, and we were, like, really great friends. And the problem is not me, okay? Like, okay, so, you know, in kindergarten, I had, like, one best friend, and we were, like, best friends in kindergarten. And then, like, every grade since then, we stayed, like, friendly and cordial, and I would go over her house and stuff like that. And then, like, it's just like every grade school year I had a new friend, because it was like they left me to go to, like, someone they considered better. So yeah, that's what always happens. So, like, to me, that is, like, the toughest thing for me, because I want consistent friends and friends that are going to be there for me. And I'm a really great person, so I don't understand why people do me like that. I mean, I honestly don't know. But, like, yeah, I guess that is, like, something that's been kind of hard for me, is, like, not having consistent friends. But I know that God will send those great friends for me when the time is right, because, you know, sometimes it's just not the time for you to have those really great friends. And don't, like, feel bad for me, because I do have, like, friends, but they're just not, like, friends, like, real friends that I could be like, well, they're not even friends. Most people are acquaintances, and it's like, I need friends, like, people I can count on. And yeah, So friend applications, send them in. What advice would you give to people who don't know how to make friends? So for me, I mean, that's like a funny question because I was just talking about friends and I didn't even know that was the next question. But advice that I would give to people that don't know how to make friends is to put yourself out there. I mean, you can't make friends by not talking to anybody and staying to yourself. You have to put yourself out there and try to be friendly with people and talk to them and stuff. And if they don't reciprocate, then obviously do not try to force yourself on people and like force people to be your friends. So yeah, put yourself out there, and you know, you can join things. Like if you are in college, you can join like certain programs, certain clubs. In high school, you can join certain clubs, sports, you know, you can do all that type of stuff and you can make friends that way. I mean, I feel like in grade school, it's easier to make friends than it is in college because, especially for a commuter, it's harder to make friends because you're commuting, you're not staying there. So like, it's not like you're there majority of the time. You may be there just for your classes and then you leave. So yeah, put yourself out there and join some things and you can make some friends. The question is, what is your opinion about Black and white parents raising their kids different? For that question, I honestly do not know what I would say. People raising their kids differently, I feel like that's okay because everyone has different parenting styles. No one is going to parent their kids the same way as, you know, other parents. Everyone parents their kids differently. Some people may beat their children and other people may not beat their children. Some people have no issues with their children's boyfriends or girlfriends coming over to the house. Some parents do have an issue with that. Like, it's honestly okay that everyone raises their kids differently because everyone is a different person. So no one is going to raise their kids the exact same way as the next person. So the next question was, why is COVID not going away? Okay, so I have a bone to pick with this because I saw like an Instagram post the other day, I think it was on Complex, and it was like a picture of, I forget what the place was, but it was overseas, and they said that they had not had a COVID case in over 200 days. So they had like this huge festival outside, and I'm just like, America, I don't want to say we could never, because we could if people stopped being selfish and just realize that the corona is still here. And obviously I know that us regular people do have parties and we are like hanging out and stuff like that, but I really feel like the celebrities are really taking the cake. I hope you guys cannot hear all the background noise, but anyways, I really feel like celebrities are taking the cake because like you just see them everywhere, like flying everywhere and having all these like album release parties, birthday parties, and it's like, do celebrities think they're like untouchable or something? And I just can't, honestly. Like, wear your mask. Like, I just don't understand why wearing a mask is like so difficult for people to do. Like, people act like we're asking you to like, I don't know, like walk around naked or something. Like, no, just wear your mask, that's it. And it's like, people act like that is such a hard thing to do. And yeah. So the next question is, why pastors are preaching about mediocre things and not the bigger picture. So what I mean by that exactly is like, because I heard a preacher came to my church this past Sunday, and he basically said something like that like many pastors are preaching on things that don't have to do with the bigger picture. And I completely agree, because there are many pastors, not saying that like the things that they talk about are not important, because there are many pastors that are preaching on things that are like, you know, control your mind and unforgiveness and all that type of stuff, and marriage and all of that. And not saying that that stuff is not important, because that is everyday stuff that we battle with, but we are in a trying time right now, and I just feel like it has to be, you know, talked about, like, you know. So the next question is, how do I feel about sex before marriage? So how I feel about that is, you guys think I'm about to give like the basic Christian answer, and obviously I am about to give the basic Christian answer. What I think about that, I obviously do think that you should save yourself for marriage, and it's not like, because I don't know, my reasoning is because soul ties are a thing, you know, and soul ties are a thing, you know, and you sleep with like all these different people, and you know, you're tying with the souls of all those other people that they slept with too. And I just personally feel like you're getting those spirits and, you know, all those vibes, and you know, you don't know who these people slept with. So like, I honestly think that you should wait, because it is supposed to be a very sacred thing between a husband and a wife. And yeah, I'm not like some like radical Christian though. That's what you guys think over here. But of course I was going to give that answer, because I do think that of course it is something serious. Like, it really is serious, especially due to the fact that like that comes with like so many different emotions. Like, people become so attached to people, and it's like, you wonder why, because there is a soul binding that is happening. When you have sexual intercourse, there is a soul binding that is happening. So it's like, of course, for girls especially, there is like a lot of emotions that take place, and obviously that's because, as I keep saying, there is a soul binding that is happening. I do also think that like how people say like, oh, if we are engaged and stuff like that, is it okay? And I personally feel like no, because you never know what can happen in your engagement. Like, what if you guys break the engagement off? Then, you know, you did that, and it was just like, for what? Because you guys aren't even married anymore. So honestly, just wait until marriage, because you don't want a whole bunch of different souls attached to you. So yeah, just wait before marriage. And like, in all honesty, it's not that serious. So just wait before marriage, kids. Wait, I keep saying just wait before marriage. Wait until you get married. Okay, that's what I meant. Not wait before marriage. Wait until you get married. But yeah, I was like really excited for this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please follow my social medias, and like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.